Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, let's start queuing up the games. One, 902. No. Thank God Savelas is so organized and all of the games are prepared on the channel for this week. Thank you, Savelas, for saving me a lot of searching and prodding. Let's see if we have anything else. Whoa, that's a lot of games, I gotta say. Hey, Getrok, good evening.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, I'm just queuing up all of the games people requested over the last week.
Oh wow, a lot of them.
Yeah, indeed, a lot of them. I think I got everything. Let me
Good job,
just.
peoples.
Yeah. So, how are you? How are things? It's been a while. Hey,
Uh,
Shark Nice or Locopuyo, whatever you prefer to be called here on Twitch.
yeah, I always have trouble tying people's names together because they have one name on Twitch, another on YouTube, another on Discord,
Yeah, so pick one.
another on AI Arena.
Hey, mind me, you finally got here on time and you have to leave, eh? Well, there will be a VOD ready for you to watch when you're back.
It wouldn't let you. Does Twitch even have a name change option, or do you just have to make a new account?
I doubt it because it's very confusing for the followers or viewers. Like
Yeah,
suddenly, you know.
maybe it's something you have to do a request for.
Yeah.
which they may or may not do for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can request and maybe they'll do it, maybe not. I don't think it's guaranteed because in your case, for example, I doubt they will agree to do that because you have a follower base that is going to be really confused when suddenly they're following another name and they have no idea where it came from, you know?
Oh, he streams actually, huh?
Aha.
Nice. Oh, you're right, he does. I do have
Okay,
a contact
so
at Twitch. I could ask them if you really want to change it.
yeah, we love the protection. I don't know how to say it in English. A special treatment because you have friends in high places.
Yeah, I got lucky with that. I had a stream viewer who ended up getting a job at Twitch, so it worked out well for me. Got me
Nice.
partnership a little earlier than I probably should have.
Nice.
There was a time to get partnership on Twitch, the requirements are actually impossible to meet. You had to have like
I I remember
300,000 concurrent like views per YouTube video, or you needed to average 10,000 viewers per stream. They basically set it so high that they got to choose whoever they wanted to get partnership.
exactly. It wasn't so long ago, and I remember it was ridiculous. Only the top streamers got partnership, and nobody
Yeah.
else.
Or you had to know someone, which is how most people got partnership.
Good
Nowadays, it's much
evening,
easier.
Lucy JS. Good evening. Or actually, you're in the other side of the world, so good same time as Ketrock for you. What time is
Afternoon,
it over there? Afternoon?
uh,
Okay.
2 p.m. for me, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're on the north of the continent. I think he's a bit souther, but somewhere in between. 2 p.m. Okay, yeah. It's exactly 9 p.m. for me. All right, so we have requested game Micro Machine against additional pylons. We missed the opening, but there was some Marauder proxy harassment that was held. And now we see a second push by Micro Machine. And I like that he's starting to incorporate tanks. Lucid, if you can talk, please, I would love to have
Yeah.
you here with us.
Everyone is welcome to join us in the voice chat. The more the merrier.
Yeah,
I think we missed the important part of this game. Did he get Marauder rushed and hold the low ground with
he
an
did
expansion?
hold. I think he held the low ground while we were chatting. I was glancing through it.
That's insane if he
Um,
did. Yeah.
yeah, and looks like Micro Machine is hellbent on keeping the aggression up, which this is something Raf can work on for sure. Like realizing when you need to just stay back, turtle, and ramp up, not keep sending units, small groups of units that are going to get crushed. You know.
Yeah. Well, most of his aggression comes up is based off of macro play. Sending a Reaper or a Banshee is not a big deal. But when he goes proxy Marauder and he doesn't get work done, he's just really far behind. In which case, anything you do from that point can look pretty bad just because you're so far behind.
Lucid, do you have caster roll? Yes, you do. Okay. So just so you know, we can't hear you yet, but I can see you're in the channel with us.
Oh, do we limit that channel? We should open it up to all bot authors. Or
I
frankly,
agree.
anyone,
I
unless we have a
I
problem.
think I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
Permissions. Okay, a both author can now speak freely. And can I? Oh no, not yet. 1 second. Yeah, connect, speak.
So additional pylons is equal on bases, but
Okay.
up about 20 army supply. His worker count is very low, though. I mean, 60 is okay, but over time, being 20 workers behind against someone who has mules.
Behind the Terran, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just behind. It's behind someone with mules. Yeah, it should be the other way around. The Terran at this stage of the game should be around 60 SCVs, I think, because of mules, and the Protoss should have 80 to 90 or something around that number.
Okay, so unfortunately for Micro Machine, he's all tank Marauder, and he's facing about, what is that, 10 Immortals? Which are
I like to call
basically
that
hard counter
number.
those 2 units.
Yeah, I like to call that number a fuck ton.
Yeah.
A fuck ton of immortals are marching towards his base, and I don't think he has anything that can fight that. That Thor is not going to help. No. Neither are, maybe the Cyclones, but he has one. Yeah, this is gonna get crushed.
Yeah. I'll say it every time I see it, but Micro Machine, you gotta drop the Thors. It's not a good idea versus Protoss. It's so bad
Um,
versus so many units.
The thing is, Micro Machine obviously like the beefy units, but against this composition, all you need to do is make a bunch of Marines, and they crush this.
Yeah, Marines are very good versus Immortals. Not something we see out of Micro Machine, though.
Yeah,
I think he got the Thors as a response to Tempest, because for a while, Tempest was like the only thing that could beat you as Protoss. But as we can see, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Does have a planetary if he's good enough to repair it, but okay, so making the planetary but having all your SCVs retreat is a bad combination too.
No, you can't. How many 80 mortals were attacking that planetary? It looks like a one shot to me. Like he didn't even have a chance to repair. You know, it's like the immortal just makes a magic trick and the planetary disappears.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He was probably dead here, but if you do repair, the PF stays up for maybe an extra 5 seconds, which means your tanks get off a couple more shots before they die. It all kind of adds up.
Against like 80 mortals that are attacking the PF.
Yeah, it obviously didn't make a difference in this situation, but
yeah, I agree.
just saying in general, the logic of running away SCVs when you have a planetary probably isn't smart.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Lucid.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hey, I forgot I did a push to talk, so I was like wondering what was wrong.
Finally, we know how you sound. What's your voice like? Nice.
Yeah, I've been maybe on one of these casts, but for like SE2, like maybe a year ago or two.
Uh-huh. By the way, you are a JavaScript developer by profession, or you just?
Yeah, mostly JavaScript. Written most stuff in Angular TypeScript.
I see. Nice. I was just wondering.
Yeah, and then Node like for the backend. So it's pretty much JavaScript for those two sides.
Yeah, you're a pretty progressive front-end developer, you could say. Okay, all right. If for anybody who doesn't know who Lucid.js is, he's our support manager, which is not doing so much yet, and that is my fault because I'm not a very good guide so far in what needs to be done and how and so on. But he is very helpful for new authors. So if you are having any problems, feel free to contact him, right, Lucid?
Yeah. I've tried following up with people, but I mean, they don't really say anything. So I kind of looking through the channels and adding bits and pieces to the getting started, kind of the new resources or conversations.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what you can do. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah, so hopefully, like, I want to kind of go through each of those, like, getting started guides. Like, I'm right now gonna do Python, like the main one, and then see if everything goes smoothly and write any notes, and then probably Sharpie as well. And
Sharpie is included in Python.
Correct.
Definitely start with Python because the majority of the authors are Python developers or developing their bot in Python. But eventually we would like to cover everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably like one thing I really like to get into is the machine learning. So I'll probably start following, the conversations of different people and how they've been implementing it and try to replicate it or kind of
In
get a general
JavaScript.
guide. Not in JavaScript. I don't think there's anything in JavaScript as far as I've looked.
There is none. That's a funny thing. 2 years ago, I think I had a job interview. Well, I didn't go to that job interview, but on the phone call, they told me they are looking for an experienced JavaScript developer to develop machine learning models in JavaScript. And I was speechless. I didn't know what to say to that because why?
You just
Well,
they
TensorFlow is imported to JS.
yeah, I think that's I think I've seen something like that.
Don't get me
TensorFlow
wrong.
is C++, Python, and JavaScript, I think, right now.
What is imported to JS? I'm sorry. TensorFlow?
TensorFlow. Yeah.
Oh, well, back then they just wrote the algorithms in JavaScript from scratch. They were building machine learning models that are written in JavaScript. And why would anyone do that ever? Why, when there are so many advanced tools to take advantage of in other languages, especially Python, which is like built in for data science and machine learning? I don't know, man. It was really anyway. We didn't get to the interview stage because I told them on the phone that I have no intention of writing machine learning models in JavaScript or anything architecture-wise to that. But now that you say that, I was interested if you're going to implement, if you like you said, you're interested in machine learning and you're following our threads. I was wondering if you're going to go at it with JavaScript.
I mean, I'll try. I've looked for resources that's like, but it's not much out there. I was thinking, like, if you're going to do JavaScript with machine learning, you just write the stuff in JavaScript and have like some intermediate communication with Python where you have
That's
output, input, like
that's hilarious. To have a JavaScript wrapper for Python libraries.
I think
Just
that's how I'm probably going to do it too. I was looking into it for Java, and while there is some Java libraries for machine learning, I think just wrapping the Python TensorFlow is the way I'm going to end up trying it.
if you haven't yet devoted resources and invested yourself in TensorFlow, I highly recommend going for PyTorch. It's just better. It is just better.
I found a good tutorial for using TensorFlow in Java, so maybe if I can find something simpler for PyTorch, maybe I'll do that.
Okay, that works. It's just my recommendation because you can, and don't take my word for it. You can look at researches that were done, like training the same models in TensorFlow and in PyTorch, and the benchmarks for PyTorch are just better. And also the syntax is much more friendly if you are a Python developer, which you are not, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my goal is to do whatever's easiest because I just kind of want to play around with it a little bit. I'm not going to be doing anything serious. So whatever I can pick up the quickest is what I would choose. So maybe even I'll use some Java library that no one else uses, even though it's not that useful long term.
Well, another thing I want to say, and I can't stress this enough, when you're just starting out, you should not use advanced machine learning libraries because it will just block your learning process. You will rely on black box stuff that does things that you have no idea what it does and how to manipulate it and modify it and tweak it. I would recommend highly to try to do something from scratch and then look into those libraries and see how they solved all of those problems that you encountered yourself.
Yeah. I mean, the couple of practical ideas that I had would involve what do they call it, deep learning. So I can't just use like a simple algorithm. I haven't really looked into it too much, like what would be involved, but I know it's not like just simple data?
No, it's just deep learning just means you have more layers. But once you can get one layer working yourself, you understand the concept of feeding inputs and doing a dot product with weights and then outputting the outputs. Like if you know to get one layer working by yourself, it will be much easier for you to work with multiple layers, which is essentially what deep learning is. There's just a lot of black box in the middle, a lot of layers. The data is being sent from one layer to another and being tweaked and manipulated with weights and such. And yeah. Of course, I know many people just start off with TensorFlow or PyTorch or whatever, and that works too. But for me personally, I never really got to actually understand what's going on until I actually built it myself. A very modest version, of course, I did myself, but enough to understand the power of those frameworks and what they can do for you.
I see.
Anyway, interesting game here between Spiny and Micro Machine. Looks like we
Same
missed
issue on his
again.
planetary again. I noticed all of his STVs were running away from the planetary when it needed repair.
And it was trying to build a CC like outside his natural. That's interesting. I wonder if it's a bug or I don't know. Spiny pretty much took over the entire map. I assume there are links borrowed blocking expansions. We have seen a game similar.
It is Golden Wall too, so you never know how much of this game is affected by the fact that it's this particular map.
Yeah, it's I like to call it the edge case map.
Yep.
If you want to make sure your code can handle edge cases, just run it on this map. It will produce.
I finally caved and hard coded something for this map just to open up that back door, just so I can expand later on.
Yeah. Even identifying the mineral walls is not such an easy task. Eventually, I got their ID changed over time a few times, I think. Like it used to be like rich mineral 450, I think, and then it's changed to 750. I remember how much frustration this map brought to me. When I was working on the map analyzer, I was trying to get generic code to analyze it and get the data.
It does use a very specific mineral type. So the unit type is never a type of mineral that's used on a real expansion. So the wall minerals are always different from the expansion minerals. So that makes it somewhat easier.
But some of the real minerals, like the gold next to the natural, those are actually minerals, but also when you mine them out, they open a new path. So they're both.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider that a mineral wall, even though it is technically a wall. I consider like that, like the bottom of your main base. That's like a wall that's not a real expansion.
Yeah, I agree. But there are implications to mining those gold patches. Because when you mine them, new paths are opening on the map, which is very fascinating and very annoying to deal with as a developer. Well done, Spiny. And like Rasper said, no Protoss units has been used here.
I guess that, for a long time, that's how Micro Machine used to lose. It was only versus Protoss.
He was joking because there was a conversation about Tempest and how only Protoss can defeat him. Yeah, what you just said. And then he posted this game and he posted a spoiler too. You can see it in the stream channel. No Protoss units were used. Oh, this is one of yours, Gedrock. Did you order it?
I did not queue it up, so I'm guessing
it's
bad news for my bot.
Probably, yeah.
I had a bug uploaded for a while. If my SCVs are all running around like idiots, then then the bug is active. We'll have to see.
Bug feature depending who you ask, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the beginning of a new feature that was initially uploaded as a bug. So in a way, it was a new feature.
I like that your SCV is chasing that scout. I remember that there was a time you completely ignored those scouts, and then like Sharpie bots just ravaged your mineral line with a scout worker. If they made it in. Okay, so far looks like very standard, I have to say. Popo is ramping up. Catrock is obviously ramping up.
I know Popo was recently updated. It often crashes against my bot for some reason. Certain bots seem to crash. Popo and I think Ketrock used to crash quite a bit.
Hmm.
Or
Ketrock?
initialization, like not crash, but initialization errors. I used to get with
Yeah.
quite a bit.
In what language is Popo written? Does anybody know by hand? Without, I can look it up.
I don't know. I just assume Python.
That's
If I don't know.
Python.
Yeah, it is Python. Yeah, okay. So it's not related to Java because there was a theory that Java bots against machine learning bots cause these issues.
Oh, we do get initialization errors every once in a while. I didn't know it was related to Java, but maybe it is.
But it was happening against mine quite a bit. So maybe some sort of issue with JavaScript and Java.
The thing is, maybe you're using a type of unit that it's not recognizing, or you're doing something that bugs it out. I don't think it's related to the language, because the client is agnostic, you know. It sends data and receives data from both bots.
Generally, if you get initialization error, it means it can't start the bot. So it's nothing to do with in-game. It's just that the bot isn't starting.
That's what it should mean, but we get
Right.
like 30-minute games that end up with
Yeah,
initialization failure.
I
Okay.
forgot to ask you, Carol, can you open an issue on that, please, so it doesn't get forgotten? It is a very important point to log the actual duration of the game and not automatically set it to 0
Yeah.
in those cases. Crypt, good evening. I missed you,
Hey,
man.
how's it going? Yeah, sorry, I've been away visiting family at Christmas. So, how's life?
Life is good. Yeah.
Cool. Also, I've been getting seriously addicted to Neptune's Pride, but that's something else entirely.
I have to say, even though this third looks like it's gonna die, other than that, Ketrock looks pretty airtight in his defense. I don't think this can break whatever he has over there. Like PF, tanks, liberators, the Zerg cannot walk into that.
No.
Not with those. Yeah.
But the main problem there is he's still on 2 bases. I think.
3, there is one at the top at the 12
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
It's getting attacked now, you can see on the minimap.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to last very long.
But the Liberator for the rescue.
But is it though? Because the Liberator's out of range of the Hydras.
Yeah.
I
Well, the
love
auto
that.
cannons took them
Oh,
down
the
anyway.
turrets! Yeah. Ketrock, I assume this is not your Raven build. This is more of a standard Terran air build.
I think this is the Raven build, but the game's going so poorly, I only have one Raven with 70 supply. Looks like all these like SCV transfers are just destroying my economy because you
They
keep
are
transferring
very
into roaches.
Yeah, it's very ambitious, those SCV transfers.
It's on my to-do list to give my SCVs some micro when they're going to different places. Right now, they just blindly move places and run into stuff.
Do you have building armor at this point? Because that PF looked like it went down really fast. I wonder.
Probably not. Usually I need to get to like a certain setup before I start investing in upgrades, and I don't think I'm probably at that setup yet. Still being on 2 bases more or less.
Yeah. Okay.
You have third up now, I think, but that's getting taken down quite quickly. Looks like. Well, not quickly.
Another
But,
SCV transfer going to its death.
Ambitious SCV transfer, and they made it. They made it. They did it. So don't
Some of
doubt
them did, yeah. I probably lost like 100 workers this game though.
They
But,
mined some Miradors. Like, it's job done.
Yeah, and the CC also like got built there, and now it's lifting and flying away.
Yeah, with good reason.
Yeah, I think.
Question is, will it get away?
What's your take on Widow Mines, Ketrok? I think you can secure new bases with Widow Mines much easier. Like drop them in a couple of chokes around the base, and then the SCVs can relatively safely walk there.
As a human player, I don't find that much use for it unless I'm facing a Mutalisk opener. For my bots, it just doesn't have the capability of creating different unit types yet. I'm in the process of starting a long refactor, which will make adding strategies and more complex compositions easier for me.
Are you going to use Fridolina's framework, or do you continue doing your own thing?
I get the impression that it's probably like a year out before he'll actually release it. So no, but I'd be interested to take a look at it once he completes it.
It's working.
Witcher out now because in this refactor. I really want to get a good structure for how to do it, and I feel like he's a much more developed developer than me.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'd like to be able to see it, but it's not public yet.
It is public, I think. All of his bots are public, and they are using that framework. And I think you should be using it during development because you can suggest features or even contribute. You know.
Yeah.
Instead, you can speed up the development process by a lot and benefit from it.
Yeah.
A year.
He doesn't open source his bots. So
hey,
at the moment his bot. Oh, is he here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard for
I don't know. That's you told me months down the road when I initially heard it.
Things move very slowly in this scene, by the way. So yeah,
months to me sounds like 6 months, and when a developer says 6 months, it usually means 12 months. So that was my thought process.
Yeah. Everybody has to remember that this is being done on our spare time, and these bots are complex software.
Yeah, you can see my bot does have the SCV bug here. You can see all my SCVs instead of mining are just running back and forth between the main and the natural.
Yeah, I don't like how Popo just marches a parade of units into tanks and planetaries, but it looks like it's going to work to pay off this game.
When you have 4 bases to 1, it's fine.
Yeah, you on that sort of economy, you can run as many units in there as you want, really. You know, it's as long as they take 1 point of damage somewhere, then it's worth it.
I wonder if he were to tech switch into Mutalisk and spin up 20 Mutalisk right now, does Ketrok has anything to deal with that? I don't think, other than auto turrets.
I got auto turrets,
and a
missile
couple of turrets,
and then I'll add more missile turrets and Vikings once I see the Spire or the Mutas.
But he has 5 hatcheries. He can bank Larva to tech switch in instantly, and then you won't have time to turret up and all that. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, he's maxed. You're right. Or you can just, when you have a big enough bank, just do the worker trick, like create a bunch of spores and cancel them afterwards.
Those ruptures are going to be problematic, though.
Yeah, they all piled up on that floating command center, so now they all get to attack at once. Do I have enough resources to repair? I don't. I'm out of minerals.
You're out now, yeah. Well, you did save it, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. Here is a suggestion. The SCVs should not be prioritizing repair when your minerals are like 0. I would estimate how many SCVs can actually spend money on repair at any given time and assign those, because it doesn't matter if you send 20 SCVs to that planetary. If you have 20 minerals in the bank, only one of them is going to repair.
Yeah, but you have multiple bases, and that kind of solves itself too, right? Because if you don't have the money to repair, your SCVs just go back to mining. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
that's
then
how
they
mine do it.
do that. Then they go back and forth and back and forth, and they waste precious time where they could be actually gaining value doing something else.
Yeah, it's a minor edge case.
I'm curious
I
what
mean,
trick the corruptor building by Popo. Only now he's producing them.
I think because he tried 5 different attacks and saw banshees. Like it didn't break Ketrock yet, and scouted, got killed by banshees and liberators.
But for like 10 minutes, I feel like it was
Yeah,
like just banging his head against the wall and then like,
actually,
oh,
he
something
has
new.
a greater spire, so it could be for
Broodlords, yeah.
broodlords, but it doesn't look like he's making the transition.
I'm still amazed it's like 20 minutes in and there's still mineral patches left at the natural
Natural.
of the main.
You-
Yeah.
I
The
know,
advantage of
right?
having your SCVs running around and never actually mining is that you don't run out of minerals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Repairing an auto turret, that's a waste of resources if I've ever seen it.
If anything can bring this game back, it's Ravens, to be honest. But you don't
Yeah.
have enough of them
I have
to,
two.
three. I see a third one. Here we go.
One in production, yeah.
Auto turrets are pretty terrible versus roaches too. And that seems to be the bulk of his army and his production.
See, now it's all roaches.
Oh no, my liberators left too. They're like, this base is done. There's no minerals left. Liberators
Yeah.
going on to the next place.
Fuck this. I'm out. Yeah, that's. I think you can understand the Liberator
goes the tanks, too.
decision process.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a Hail Mary. You have to do that. I like that the tanks are repositioning to cover the let's call it the most realistic source of income you're gonna get, which is the 12 o'clock base.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pop's actually seen it yet.
He has, but it's not in his direct attack path, so Ketrock can actually mine minerals from it.
Yeah, good luck transferring any workers though. Oh, okay, you got a few there.
Yeah.
Looks like the PF's down just based on the roaches on the ramp. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
SCVs left there to repair.
I think it's
Well,
just I think it's just building roaches because that's what the resources let him. He's just immediately when it's available, he builds a roach.
oh yeah, because he's mining. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a not so simple logic to be able to reserve resources when you want to just produce units ASAP as soon as possible. Because when you have enough resources for a roach, you make a roach, and then you don't have enough resources for a broodlord, for example,
Yeah.
because you just spent it on a roach.
I noticed he did have savings for that upgrade. So he saved up for whatever that is, melee +2 or whatever that, I can't tell. by the
Yeah,
symbol.
melee, and
But he
he
saved
has
up to
not a
150 and then
single
he built
unit that actually attacks melee, which is
It could be that it peaked. Like if his resources peak enough, like let's say he's at 200 and his resources go up, he can do those upgrades and build maybe other things other than roaches. But if he
yeah,
keeps,
but that happens naturally. That's not something in his logic. I think he can.
I
This
saw him
is
save up
something-
for the upgrade though. He wasn't maxed at the time.
The melee upgrade when his composition is roaches, hydra, and corruptors, and he's upgrading melee.
so
Well, it could be part of that broodlord transition that never happened. But you got
Yeah.
Greater
Oh,
Spire, you
here-
got
here-
Corruptors. Oh, there it is. There
Here's
you
the
go.
broodlord.
So the
Yeah,
broodlings,
there
the
is one.
broodlings get the +1.
Yeah. That's actually very impactful. Those 3 units are terrorists.
yeah, I'm curious what triggers like these because he could have done it way earlier, I imagine. And then
He could have ended the game with Broodlord Corruptor a long time ago. Yeah, like just make Corruptors, get rid of the Banshees and Ravens, and Broodlords can just kill everything else.
I think you're right though. When it comes to unit production, he just builds whatever he can when he can afford it. So since Roach is the cheapest mineral unit, he just makes that first every time he hits
Yeah.
75 minerals.
So he can only tech up after he maxed out, which is can be abused in many ways by the enemy, I think. Hey, Tyr, good evening. I just noticed that you are you have joined us. How are you, man? Have you been working on your bot lately? You've been really quiet on Discord. I'm used to hearing more from you, or reading,
Yeah.
rather.
He was just typing on Discord as we spoke.
Oh, he was?
Helping Divided Sky wants to start a C# bot. So Tyr is answering some questions there.
Here, there is a tournament coming up and we need snipes. You have
Yeah.
to put in the effort.
Yeah, you want to beat the Marauder Rush. Make a shield battery, code in the new shield battery overcharge, and watch Micro Machine get torn to shreds.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when he has no way to actually practice against it in a robust way. Yeah, I mean, I guess he can locally create. Yeah, it's a tough one.
I need to see a Protoss bot use shield battery overcharge.
That's a big deal, and if we already explored trying to actually grab the Linux source code to implement balance changes ourselves. If that was possible, we would have just implemented the balance changes ourselves to mimic the current patch. Another option that
Wait,
I don't
Blizzard
know.
offered you the source code for the Linux?
No. If that was possible, we would have done it. It would
Oh,
have
okay,
been part of our routine, but it's not possible because Blizzard are not giving us the source code. Another option is to use, I think with the map editor, you can apply like weird balance stuff. Like you can create a map that shield batteries have that ability, for example, on that map because you say so in the map
Yeah, but
editor.
that
But
kind
the
of thing
API
would be
doesn't
really
handle it.
hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
no, that's not going to be easy to do on 410. Like you can either just get a 411.
Like we already have
412.
maps that handle all that stuff. It's just called the newest patch.
Yeah.
We use the API that handles that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think for
True.
Bobots we could switch to the newest version though.
It's possible. But
It's possible, but it creates a huge overhead because the only technical side of Probots is Laddie, and you're asking him to take something that works, that is robust, like the Arena clients, and switch to Windows, which is going to take a chunk of his time to try to make it work. You know.
Well, it's
I
just
know
building the replays that are different, right? It's not like AI Arena Ladder where we gotta run thousands of games, so we need the Linux. For a tournament, it's only, what,
Yeah.
70 games? Something like that? You can run that locally as
I
an
guess
option.
you
Of course,
can,
there's other
but
headaches with the newest version, because newest version has bugs, like the missing weapons on Void Rays and stuff like that.
oh, that's
Oh
horrible.
God.
That's
Yeah.
really horrible. I don't remember exactly, but we have discussed it before the last Probots, and that was a big reason why that Probots was delayed and then announced in a short, with a short time to prepare, because there were efforts made to have it on Windows, but eventually we gave up and went with Linux.
Yeah, for now it's not a big deal, but if, say, 3 years down the road and StarCraft looks very different than 4.10, then it won't be a very good viewing experience for StarCraft
I agree,
players.
and I think if we get big enough, and we will, at least if we keep going like we're going, we will be able to strong arm Blizzard to giving us access to the code.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to change that much because they've kind of like sunsetted the whole thing. So I think we should be safe in that regard. Like there might be balance changes and stuff like that, but as far as the actual look and feel of the game goes, I don't think that's going to change a lot.
Well,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, they're
the
not going to
game.
add new units, obviously, but the balance changes over time because they'll still be balance changes. They'll want to keep the game fresh, even if the balance is perfect. They'll still want to change things just to keep the pro scene looking different. Otherwise, it gets
Exactly,
stale.
to make the pros change their preferred strategies because of those changes, and
Yeah.
and more so, I'm going to add to that the bot realm is not the same as the human realm, and we might need to apply our own balance to some of the bot mechanics because bots could make stuff broken with perfect micro and unlimited APM. You know,
Yeah.
some
Well, that's already true, but the question is, do we want to create our own game that's balanced for bots, or do we want to play
well,
StarCraft 2?
if someone comes up with something that is literally broken that nobody can beat because a bot executed so well that nobody can stop it, I would like to be able to patch it in our ladder, so it's balanced. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see that becoming a problem anytime soon, but it's possible it could do. But at that point, we're just kind of like finding solutions for sort of like perspective problems that we don't know if even will occur. So, you know,
Oh yeah, I'm
I,
just saying I would like the option to like
oh yeah,
to balance our own ladder because it's not the same like the human ladder. No matter what, I mean,
yeah,
bots are they have different ups and
Well,
downs.
if bots can play on custom maps, which I think is what you were saying earlier, then we can always change numbers around. We
yeah.
can make Marauders do more damage and stuff like
Yeah,
that on a
exactly,
custom map.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
We don't
shield
need
battery,
Blizzard for that.
like buff the shield battery, for example, give it more shield over time or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just those minor changes that might make an all-in that is unstoppable stoppable. For example,
Nerf cyclones.
nerf cyclones. Yeah, nerf tempest. Remove tempest for the game. Yeah, fuck
No,
tempest.
I love Tempests. Tempests are great.
It's all Protoss has now, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
their only OP unit. It might be the most OP
Well,
unit, but Terran has like 5 OP units. So
I think you're discounting Immortals, and I think Sentries and High Templars have not been used to their full potential, not even close. I think
yeah,
the
I don't see
Protoss
them being.
casters, the spellcasters of Protoss have a lot of potential, in my opinion. They just are very hard to use properly because, you know, spellcasters, just like Ravens, are very hard to use properly. But once a Protoss puts his mind into making High Templars and Sentries and even Oracles are also spellcasters that give some utility. They are not only harassing units. They can get a lot out of it, in my opinion.
Impy was looking in the carriers and found out that the API doesn't give us information on the current cargo, like how many interceptors the carrier has. So my idea, like I always thought carriers might be the strongest unit in the hands of bots, but we don't have the information to do perfect micro, unfortunately.
Oh, now I remember what okay, there is one flaw in the current bot API that I would really like to be able to patch, and that is when Zerg is morphing his hatch to a lair or lair to hive, you don't know that, even if you have a unit looking at it. You only know that that lair is producing something. It could be a queen or it's morphing. You don't have any indication of it from the API, which is insane. It's such important scouting information.
Yeah, that's true about every unit. You don't know anything about enemy units that human players know. You can't click on them and see what their upgrades are. You can't see if they're morphing into something else.
You can see that they are morphing, can't you? Like
Nope.
it's active or something. I don't know. Like there is some flag on the API for it.
There's
And
tons
that
of
flag,
visual indicators on enemy units, and we don't get any of that information.
yeah. But the layer thing specifically is very critical because sometimes you need to see that layer morphing to prepare yourself for whatever the 2-base muta that's coming or whatever. And if you don't know if a layer is morphing or a queen is being trained, you can't prepare, right?
True.
So that's something I would like to be able to patch for our ladder. I would really like to be able to patch that.
Yeah, I'm not certain that's ever going to be able to do unless
Maybe maybe we
unless we
can
access.
dump a chat message that says that once an enemy unit gets in vision range, maybe we can like monkey patch the API. I don't know.
Possibly, but yeah,
Mind Me is asking if they look differently. Yes. As a human player, you can tell when a hatchery is morphing into a lair or it's training a queen. You can very easily see and tell that. But the bots only know that the hatchery is wiggling. It's doing something. You don't know what.
Do we
doing a
know
little bit.
when structures are wiggling?
Yes.
Yeah, it's active or something. There is an active flag.
Yeah, there's build progress. I can't remember what the flag is now, so I'll probably grab it. But yeah,
Look
there is
into that
definitely
again.
a
I thought I
flag.
checked
Yeah.
that once before to check to see if a spawning pool is upgrading speed or something like that, and I didn't think there was any information. I'll have to take a
yeah,
look.
there is. I'm pretty sure there is. And the only problem with that is, as far as I can tell, that is critical for actually for scouting and countering stuff is that hatch to layer thing, especially early game. If he's going for layer, fast layer, you have no idea if he's making a queen or going for a layer. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Spiny
Harvester
against
Zerg.
Harvester Zerg. Interesting.
See how Harvester Zerg's doing nowadays.
So that's something that if anybody has any idea, maybe we can, access a saying Ripper structure orders, but that's in Python, by the way, the Ripper. But you don't own that structure. You just see it. I don't think you can access its orders.
Yeah, you can't see orders of enemy units. You might be able to see the get active flag. I didn't think you could, but you're saying you are, so maybe you can.
Yeah, like you can also not tell right now if a bunker has units in it or not. That's another thing.
No. Spiny's Spiny's lost because I think he's trying to implement the Scarlet's mining technique unsuccessfully.
Oh God, no.
He's trying to do
Oh
the fast mining.
yeah. That's actually a duplicate of Scarlet's code. I know they discussed that code together, so I guess there are bugs in that code. Yeah, those workers are just wiggling and doing nothing.
I think he's going to need to patch that one.
Yep. Even Scarlet's code, it goes, I don't even know how, but on one base it goes over 100,000 APM, and that will get to bugs later in the game.
Yeah.
When you send that many actions, it kind of destroys your bot and it starts giving actions in random order. And obviously, if you have more bases than one, then you're like going up above 200,000 APM and then above 300,000 APM.
Tyr is saying that you can see if the structure is active.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and if we make a list of all the flaws in the API, I think the cherry on the top is the layer to hatchery. I can't find a real solution for. I mean, if you can't know if he's going for a fast layer or not, you can't react to that. You just can't.
Yeah.
At least with Zerg, it won't be active when he's making units. So you got narrowed down to building a queen or upgrading something. I guess he could be upgrading like drop tech too.
To be honest, if
overload
I was
speed.
a Zerg, my hatchery would constantly be producing queens when it's not morphing. I would just, because queens don't cost larva. I don't know why Zergs don't mass queens as much as they can. Because it's an
Especially in
extra
the early
unit.
game when you want to make drones.
Yeah, so the hatchery is always wiggling, right? It's making queens, but sometimes it's actually morphing into a lair. You have no idea.
Yeah, we can't tell the difference between an empty and full bunker. Anything with a visual cue, like blue flame on a Hellion, range on a Hydra. These are all things that a human can tell, but we can't.
Okay, here's an idea. Maybe since we already have an arena client that's actually running those things and access the bot's data during the game, maybe we can access that specific data and have flags like when the enemy has vision of this, we give him that information, maybe via chat, like some chat flags that bots can tell. I don't know. I'm
I've
just
actually tried doing sort of like inserting information into the packets. It's quite difficult to do, just simply because of the checksums and working everything out on the client. So that can be quite prone to failure. So it's difficult to do, but I think it's possible, just about. But yeah, I haven't had a lot of success doing that.
The PySE2 doesn't let you see it either.
I think it does, but it's a different interface completely.
Yeah.
So, so there's no interface option for Python SE2 where you can see that raw interface.
No, from the raw interface from PySE2. The thing with PySE2 is the bot sees the game like a human would. It sees the only its own screen and whatever is on that screen, pixelated, of course, but
Isn't
it sees.
PySE2 based off of the Protobuf API as well?
It
I thought
does,
they had
but
the same raw API background.
it's a choice Yamabushi is saying. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know,
Yeah. I'm not aware of anyone using both interfaces together. So yeah, it might be possible, but I've not seen any examples of that happening.
But I mean, PySE2 can't do anything that other APIs can't, right? Because they're all based off of the same Blizzard API.
but they
Yeah,
are
it's a,
scraping the screen. Like the bot actually
Okay.
pixelates the screen it sees. It's like screen scraping to some extent. It's not
I
only
see.
raw data. It doesn't get arrays and grids. It actually sees and interprets whatever it sees.
yeah.
So technically we could do it too, but we'd also have to scrape the screen.
Yeah,
Which we-
exactly.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Yeah, especially for a game like StarCraft. Screen scraping is very, very hard.
No, I'm trying to find a solution for that because I can see this becoming a problem.
Tier says it's not screen scraping.
It's not screen scraping. So how? Because AlphaStar can tell if a hatch is producing a queen or morphing into a lair. How can it tell that?
It can? Do we know that for sure?
I'm pretty sure he reach Grandmaster with that information. I don't think he can without it because Zergs can abuse the hell out of it.
Well, it's
Uh,
machine learning, right? It just
yeah.
plays. It probably just developed a way of playing where
It and see,
it's
yeah, it
safe against
predicts.
fast
Yeah,
layer. You know,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
it's strong enough in other ways to still make GM, even if it's playing at a deficit in some ways.
That visual layer is from the raw API. He was just creating using CV, OpenCV. He was creating a visual layer that the bot can learn from, but that visual layer was fed and built off of the information from the API, the grids, the arrays you get, all of those things. So that information is not available there either, sadly. I'm replying to what Yamabushi said. He said the Sandex, in case you don't know, there was a really nice tutorial made a few years ago by Sendex, which actually provided huge exposure for our community. I know many people got here from that.
Yeah, me included.
Yeah, and he was doing some very interesting stuff from scratch, which is also, if you want to start with machine learning, I recommend looking at Sendex channel, because not always, sometimes he falls back to the standard channels where they start saying, okay, we're going to pick Adam Optimizer and ReLU function and not explain what either are and just move on. And here we're going to put a dense layer and not explain what a dense layer means, what it is, what it does. So those tutorials are only misleading and making life harder, in my opinion. But lately he has been done neural networks from scratch, which is excellent. I highly recommend watching it, because he explains the internal things very nicely with visual effects, and after that, you can actually use those machine learning frameworks and understand what's the benefits of each object in it.
Anyway,
There
guys,
are image.
I'm going to have to leave you. Sorry, I was a bit late and didn't stay around for long, but
It's all good.
talking
Just
to you all
just
otherwise.
remind us about the upcoming tournament.
Yes. Bot authors, you have 3 days left to submit your bots. So the deadline is Friday the 1st at midnight, or 23:59 on Friday the 1st, if you like. The first cast will be on Saturday, on the 2nd. So that should be a lot of fun. So that will be Group A. So we'll do Group A on Saturday, do Group B on Sunday, and then obviously we've got the other two groups the week after. So the Group A on Saturday will be Strelok, Sharpened Edge, and Sharkbot, and then we'll be focusing on Swarmbot, Spiny, and Tia on Sunday.
And in
which should be
case
fun.
you haven't heard, it's going to be on the latest patch with all of the shenanigans of the latest patch,
Yep.
right, Crypt?
Yep.
Shield battery and VCs teleporting and whatever.
Yeah. So Tia was just asking when we upload. If you're qualified for the tournament, I'll be sending you an upload link tonight. Or yeah, actually, I'll do that tonight quickly, so you've got everything ready. If you've got any problems, just let me know and we'll sort it out.
Okay, when is the first broadcast? I'm sorry, I missed when
It's
you
on
said
Saturday at 9 UTC. So
it. Nice.
What-
So I will be there. Most of us will be there. It's gonna be a hell of a
It's-
party.
it's going to be the last tournament that we're going to be running for the foreseeable future on the latest patch. So make the most of it, guys. Get all your
Yeah,
shield battery
yeah.
overcharges in.
Shield battery. I want to see shield battery overcharges. I want to see all the new stuff being abused to the max. I want to see like you can make just shield batteries. Like Protoss bots, don't make units, don't make anything. Just make shield batteries.
And repair each other.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Can
right,
I
guys.
submit it a few hours late? Because Eastern time zone, I mean.
Yeah,
As long as you have it
whatever.
by the morning, it's okay.
As long as it's there when I wake up in the morning, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
okay,
complain
good.
too much. Officially, the deadline is midnight, but if you throw it at me a couple of hours after, I'm not going to complain too much.
Because midnight for you is like 4 p.m. for me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all right. We've left the EU now, so we're sailing across into the Atlantic, so we'll be nearer to you, right? That's totally the way it works.
I see.
But
yeah. We can call it time travel too if you want.
yeah, fine.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cheers, guys. Anyway, catch you later.
Bye.
care.
Was great having you here, Crypt.
Right.
Okay, here is Bomb Shaker, which is the original. Sadly, not sadly. I mean, sadly for Ketrock, he's the original Ketrock on the ladder, because
Yep.
he was the innovator that started the Mass Raven build.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how this is going to be playing out. Newbie,
He's the reason I did it.
Yeah, he inspired me too, I have to say. Definitely. Newbie, I haven't watched him play yet. So, oh, I have actually. It was, yeah, it's not upgrading CCs. I remember. It's like a starter bot that was slowly adding features. I remember last time we watched it was expanding really well and making a ton of marines like it does now, but not upgrading the orbital, the CCs to orbitals, for example. Like missing some features.
It doesn't last though. I think I haven't seen it win.
Well, this might be the first one if it made the stream.
Yeah, let's see. How do I check the queue? I just queue like this. No, it's a random game, I think.
Oh, okay. We talked our way through all the other games. Missed them.
Yeah, we did.
We saw Mixed Breed. That's Fidelina's new random bot.
Damn, we missed all the good stuff, but we had a good chat. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. So there's that. I'm going to just look for a game. I'm not going to say which specific bot losing I'm going to look for. You guys will have to figure that out yourself. It's Micro
We're
Machine.
showing Drone on community stream.
I don't think so. It's not active, so I don't think. Or is
Oh.
it active?
It was at one point, so it should have history. But yeah, maybe it's inactive now. Scarlet likes to turn her bots on and off often.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, soon we are going to support .NET 5 on our Arena clients. So you C# developers have something to look forward to. When I say soon, I mean as soon as we can find the time to rebuild the Docker images, which is a hassle and takes time, but it will get done.
Yeah, I noticed you added two more clients. At least has your name on it.
Yeah, those were the testing clients that supported .NET 5 and a few other new things, and the tests went fabulous. Everything is looking good, everything works, everything runs. The ACs are even robust. Like, I think they managed, other than the Benbot and Ketrog games, which lasted like hours, so it reduced the match count. But overall, it looks like the game count was high on those ACs, which is also really good. And that is your fault, Ketrog, for reducing the match count.
I think my bot's average game time isn't too bad. There's only certain matchups that go like 40 minutes. Other ones are over pretty quick.
I'm
Yeah.
joking.
No, Benbot and Ketrog are probably two of the longest bots.
Yeah, they go for the late game. They are very comfortable just ramping up and playing defensively. Yeah, no doubt about it. But it's legit strategy, and I have no intention of discouraging it. If I was just joking, if you think you can get an edge in a long game, you should go for a long game. It's legit, and it's fine. It just takes longer to. It's just reduced a bit the volume of the games we have on the ladder.
Yeah.
By the way, JavaScript was recently updated to a beta. It now accepted the PR for AI Arena uploads. So, and it's also like faster, much faster. I know in Golden Wall it's like super fast now.
Explain it, please. I'm
that ZSoC updated the JavaScript framework, so it's
okay.
he incorporated some of the things he wanted to for speed, and also the PR was integrated to upload out of the box into AI Arena.
Oh, nice. I was looking in our PRs if we have a PR from CDOC, and I can't find it. Now I understand. Okay. That's nice. So the framework, the JavaScript framework, now supports bot data, which is huge. It's really a big deal. Nice. Good of you to tell us about it. Oh, look, additional pylons against Lucid.js. Can you tell us a bit about your bot, Lucid, since you're finally here with us? What does it know how to do? What it doesn't yet? What are your plans to like what features you would like to add or to improve?
It's more of a build order. Like I have kind of took in a plan from like spawning pool tool, and then I kind of put into array and then kind of iterate through it so that it kind of follows that plan. And then I have like helper functions to kind of like run, like create units when it needs to, and um, spread creep here and there, and expand um, after it's out of the plan. So like it kind of
And
can keep going after.
it sticks to the plan no matter what. I mean, or it's
No, well,
dynamic.
it'll pause in case of something like I'm getting attacked here.
Yeah.
It's just producing units to try to defend. Um, so right now it's kind of has a really bad retreat logic, so which I'm gonna fix at some point. But it mostly dies in the beginning because a lot of the bots in the early game, or at least like attack pretty early when I'm not ready. Um, so I'm trying to like survive this early part so it can get to the later game, which usually or has a better chance of winning.
I would explore static defense, definitely. I think spines, especially if you had creep on the high ground here, a couple of spines there could make a difference, I think.
Well, my idea is I'm trying to keep, if I'm like outnumbered or outsupplied, I want my army just to stay back as much as possible until it has enough and then kind of attack. And I'm
Yeah, Zerg.
doing a pretty bad job of it so far. It was doing okay, and then I made some changes and it made it worse. So kind of
I
have to,
remember it looked really promising. This one game is not indication for anything, obviously, but from previous games, I remember it was looking really promising. It was doing some really nice maneuvers. I was impressed, and I wanted to keep following your progress on that.
yeah. So eventually, I mean, I'll figure this part out where it's not like retreating in a stupid manner and getting slaughtered, basically. But in my future plans is to kind of consume build orders from that website, and then kind of be able to use like a library of build orders that it can go kind of iterate through. That's kind of one aspect I want to do.
I think Harvester does something like that as well. They like the Protoss Harvester.
Sharpie in general is designed like that. You give it a build order. I know there are ways to change that on the fly to make it reactive, but in general, it executes build orders. I
Yeah,
would
I mean,
like
like,
to.
importing
I'm sorry.
from spawning pool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting. I would like to see bots that just decide, like you tell them what you want. Search, essentially, search engine. You tell it, I want a spawning pool right now. And it tells you a spawning pool is going to take us X time and Y resources. You have other options. You can make this or do that. And like that, you can choose whatever you want to go forward with.
Yama, I haven't parsed it yet. I mean, that's the plan, sort of. When I kind of want the build orders to be solid at the moment, so I'm just focusing on one right now. I actually have 3 races. Kind of have build orders for each race that's kind of similar to each other, and Zerg was like kind of the easiest in terms of that, setting it up.
Yes, Locopoyo is saying he's also Shark Nice. I gotta pick a name. He's also saying that he gets his build orders from spawning tool.
Yeah, yeah, I know what he means. Some of them have like kind of little flags, kind of like harass at this point. So there'll be some. I have some like functionality that's kind of incorporated into the build order, like harass. I might have to take a look at some details to kind of modify it, or I don't know, or maybe some videos will be kind of explain certain things. So I might modify the build order to incorporate those little functionalities, like harass or push or do something like that.
Usually the harass serves a scouting purpose, and usually the build order is changing based on what your harassing units actually sees in the enemy. So that's why you can't really go with a predetermined build order, because as soon as you see something, it's supposed to get adapted to whatever you just saw, unless you're going for an all-in, in which case you don't care. So that's fine.
Right. For now, yeah, that would be ideal. And for now, I just have one build order, and it's kind of a generic, good for most things, build order.
Shield
And
batteries! Sorry.
and like the build order is not that strict in terms of like it won't build. They do have reactive code that like will supersede the build order.
Yeah, that's important. And that's like art in my eyes, to have a code that actually can adjust things in a way. It can get so complicated so fast. That Reaper is getting out alive. Oh, that was one hero Reaper. How do Marauders do against Void Rays, guys? Anybody knows? How do tanks do against Void Rays? Pretty good if the Void Ray doesn't attack.
Anti-counter.
There was a time where Zerg players used to counter Void Rays with roaches because they couldn't handle the counterattack of roaches and couldn't kill it off quick enough.
Same goes for Tempest. The best counter for Tempest is just go kill him.
That's only if the bot knows to not hide and like run under this Void Ray because it thinks it can attack it.
Yeah. So I remember when the Harvester tried to kill Void Rays with Swarm Host, kept firing locusts at them.
Because they fly. I know, that's like a weird edge case that when you write the code the first time, you say, okay, I want all flying units to attack whatever is flying, right?
Yeah. Well, that was machine learning, right? It probably figured it out on its own. Just shoot units at anything.
Here we go, Tempests. I wonder how Micro Machine is going to handle this. Well, if three-way lever is going to stay on 3 bases while Micro Machine is ramping up his macro, no amount of Tempest will be able to hold here. Eventually, it will overwhelm. That Reaper is still alive, guys. I think it's the Hero Reaper from before. Okay, it's dead. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to get off now. It has been a pleasure. And Savelas, when you are going to be watching this, I just want to tell you that you are missed dearly. And I hope to see you next week with us. thank you everybody for joining. You can go on. I just have to get off. I have a few things I need to get done.
Yeah, I'm kind of half working on something else myself right now, so I'll be heading out as well.
Okay, so good night, guys, and thanks for joining us again.
Hey, by the way,
Alright,
is
good
this
night.
three-way lever beating Micro Machine?
Yeah, I think we're gonna stay to this. I mean, Micro
Is
Machine
this a
losing.
random game where Micro Machine loses as well? Or was
Yeah,
this
it's a
queued up by
random
someone?
game. It's a random game. Nobody queued it. Like our
Awesome.
algorithm already knows what we like, you know.
Yeah. Q is learning.
Although this fuckton of Vikings looks like they can handle Tempests if they just YOLO and not try to micro back. Yeah, they are a one-shot Tempest.
What's
This
the
amount
worker
of
count? I
Vikings.
still got 55 workers. Yeah, it's kind of a close game actually.
Yeah, but three-way lever is now ramping, is triple expanding, and Micro Machine is only on the defensive, so he can do it. A three-way lever can do it freely without any
Their base is down.
concerns. This is not easy, guys. Dealing with Tempest as a bot is not easy.
One
You
of
need to.
the most annoying things with dealing with Tempest is that between shots, they often disappear from your view. So it's hard to even like micro correctly against them when you can't even see them half the time because they can shoot further than you can
Did
see.
it die or did it went out of vision? Like, yeah, definitely. I guess I would save scans for that. But, you know, it's going to drain all of your economy eventually if
Yeah,
you're
Micro
going to
Machine's
scan.
dead. He's not even mining right now.
I mean, at that point, you just kind of memorize the position when they go out of sight. Is that the approach?
Yeah, any unit that can shoot further than it can see, I just remember it for like 5 seconds. And hopefully that kind of works.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point for memory logic. I'm sure there are edge cases that you need to address eventually.
There's still annoying things to it, though. It would be a lot easier if you could just see it all the time. But I guess that's true with a lot of units. A lot of units work because they're annoying to deal with. Like Cyclones, the fact that you don't know what unit they're locked onto in the API makes them super difficult to deal with. Widow Mines, the fact that you don't know whether they're off cooldown or not, makes them annoying to deal with. And yeah, the Micro Machine's dead.
Yeah, that's a
random queue.
Yeah, well, three-way lever, you know it's gonna be Tempest, and you know it's gonna be abusing something.
Imagine Micro Machine or the author's like, I swear, like my bot's really, really good. They just show the bad ones. Here's a random one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, little does he know that our machine learning match picker already knows to pick the losing games.
And people are sending laughing games of Micro Machine losing too. So people who only know about bots from that channel are just seeing Micro Machine as this terrible bot that loses every game.
I know, right? People that are being exposed to it for the first time, they see like 5 VODs in laughing games of Micro Machine losing, and they're like, okay, this bot sucks. It just loses all the time. Okay, we better try to learn from the better bots that beat it, right?
They know it wins like, was it 94% of its games or something?
Yeah, it's crushing the ladder. Anyway, yeah, happy New Year's, guys. And I'm going to remind again, there is going to be a tournament on the latest patch this Saturday. I think it's 10 p.m. UK time, which is, or 9 p.m. UK time, which is 10 p.m. for me, which is around now. So it's going to be around now, this time, wherever you are, on Saturday. Okay, guys, I'm gonna head off. Happy New Year's. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.